if you've ever considered leaving teaching, but you're stuck on what would I even do? I have all of these amazing educational skills, then you're going to love my interview today with Shannon Moore. Shannon was recently in the Teachers Pay Teachers Mastermind that I just hosted, and she not only runs a tutoring business and left the classroom quite a few years ago, but she's taken her skills as a tutor and translated them into amazing Teachers Pay Teachers resources. And she has quite an amazing insight into what it looks like to go from the classroom to tutoring to now making money on TPT. So I hope you'll enjoy her interview and get some inspiration from what she's been able to achieve. Hi, Shannon. I'm so excited that you're here.
Hi, thank you for having me, Molly.
Okay, will you let everybody know what your background is and how you came to the point where you are today talking to me?
Yes, I started teaching 20 years ago. However, my background wasn't in teaching. Started many, many years ago, human resource management. Decided that I wanted to go back to school into teaching and went back and got my master's in teaching and certification. That was 20 years ago this year. But as my education career spanned those 20 years, I've worn several different hats or held several different roles. I was a classroom teacher for second and third grade, then MTSS, Multi-Tier Systems of Support Coordinator or RTI coordinator, then reading specialist, instructional coach, private tutor, and then I most recently became an author. So that's a little bit about my uh, educational background.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Mhm.
remind because I've known you for a long time and the people watching
Right,
probably didn't know that, but we've known each other for a couple years and I
right,
knew the HR, the human resources part, but I forgot that you did
right.
that even
Me
before
too.
teaching.
Right.
So when you jumped into the teaching role, you probably were like, I got this because you
Mhm.
were doing that sort of job beforehand.
Right, right.
And so Shannon and I met through your tutoring business. That's how we got started together. And then that led you to wanting to start a Teachers Pay Teachers store. So can you tell everybody how you even got started down that path, just
Mhm,
from teaching to tutoring to now TPT?
mm. So that had the my tutoring sector of my educational career started, maybe I want to say maybe almost 10 years ago, 2013, 2014. And again, like all teachers, I wanted that a side hustle because as we know, education doesn't pay teachers the way it should. So, and then plus at that time I had a wedding to help pay for. So it's like, what can I do? And then I had a lot of friends they always came to me and asked me questions about their child's education, reading especially. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead one summer and just put like a blast on social media. And I had a lot of friends with children reach out to me and say that they needed a tutor. So that's how it started. So I did that on the side. And then a few years later, got married and husband's job relocated to another state. So that put a halt on my tutoring business because when you relocate, I my marketing for tutoring was word of mouth. So going to a whole new state, new city, new school, new everything where I didn't know anyone, it was hard. So I said, I'll wait, save that for later, come back to it. So fast forward when I was in my new state, and then the pandemic hit, I said, you know what? This is a great time to revisit my tutoring because again, everybody's at home, virtual learning. Parents were calling me again with, the issues with that. So I said, you know what? Let me start this back up. So a few years later, maybe a year or two later, in the process of starting it back up, and then my husband passed unexpectedly. So that again put a halt to my tutoring business. So I had to move back home. And in the midst of all of that, um, almost it turned into like a blessing because it had me look at my career in a different way. Because after the pandemic, I was thinking about education and how it's changed and what could I do. Wanted to make a shift from the classroom, but still remain in education. So while I moved back home, once again, I had a lot of family and friends ask me, "Hey, what are you doing? Or, are you going back to school? What's happening? You should do your tutoring again." And I was like, you know what? I think I will. So in the midst of grief, again came a blessing, which was restarting my tutoring business, More Literacy Leaps. And through that, I began to develop or redevelop my love of reading. And I also wrote an article, Whole Language versus the Science of Reading. And just that began to snowball everything. So first came the article. So that kind of reignited my passion about reading. And then also, I think from you, I on your page, I saw a lot of teachers talking about um, what was podcast? The podcast about the tutoring teacher. Sorry, about it has blown my mind now. But
Huh.
Emily Hanford,
Oh,
her
yes.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both
I know, I'm
we're
like,
both
"What was
like,
that one again?"
yeah, it's yeah. So her podcast, it'll come to me. And so just thinking about that and just journaling my thoughts and then revisiting that. And then once again, I had parents call me around that first card marking. Parents called me panicking. Hey, they said my child is going to fail. My child is in intervention. Can you tutor? Are you tutoring yet? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get started. So in the midst of tutoring, just like a classroom teacher, I'm looking for products. I need resources.
Yeah.
And since I've taken a hiatus from the classroom, didn't have all my resources. So what do? I go to TPT, Teachers Pay Teachers. So I'm Googling, looking for things. And then I think during that stage as well is when I heard a podcast episode on the teacher career coach. And it was your episode.
Oh, yes.
And your episode, and you were talking about how to rebuild your teaching career with tutoring. And so I started following you. And then from there, you talked about how to make money on the side as a teacher and create your own TPT products to use with your tutoring students and also your classroom students. So that's how that was a long explanation, but that was my whole segue back into uh, my tutoring business.
I'm really glad you explained it all because honestly, I think there's going to be quite a few people out there that hear your journey and they'll think to themselves, oh, that sounds just like me. If
Mhm,
Shannon can do it, so can I. And that's so true. I mean, wouldn't you say, like, if I'm thinking back to the beginning to you, when you first started on TPT, you felt really overwhelmed by it? But
mhm,
then towards the
mhm,
end of our mastermind, it seemed like in the
mhm.
group coaching that people were asking you questions
Yeah,
and like,
yeah,
well, Shannon, how did you do this? And it was like, I had this like proud mom moment almost of
yeah,
you, like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, like you seem to have the most success with all the implementation of the things that you had learned. So if someone's listening, I guess my question to you is, um, did you feel overwhelmed in the beginning? Was there any hesitation for you on starting on TPT?
Not so much hesitation because, we've had conversations in the past just about, I have so many teacher resources from my 20-year career. And I was like, I have all these resources. What can I do with them? So, in talking with you and your coaching, you suggested I turn some of those old resources into products to sell. So with that, it wasn't daunting. It wasn't overwhelming because I already had like a template or a skeleton, if you will. So I could use that, and all I needed to do was kind of zhuzh it up and put some graphics and fonts and clip art. So that part was easy. But I would say for anyone listening and starting their TPT, what was more challenging for me was the beginning because I had to create everything from, even though I had the template, I had the product, but I had to do the cover pages, the direction page, the thank you page, the credits page. And I am not a creative design person whatsoever.
Me
So
either.
that, yeah, so that was my challenge. I'm good at the product, but the kind of marketing and all of that, I couldn't do that. So my sister, who is a talented graphic artist, I kind of gave that to her. So she started doing those at first, but I've since now hired someone to do that because I remember you saying the
Mhm.
stuff that you can't do, hire somebody to do it. So I that makes it easier for me. That was the overwhelming part. Like I said, it wasn't the product creation, it was more so the additional pieces that go with it. But and was just thinking about this the other day, and I think you said this in one of your modules for from zero to cha-ching, that once you have a template, that's it. Like all you do is just kind of cut and paste. So now I have a few templates, and then like, okay, this is doable now. This is easier. I can just switch this product out, still keep the same format, but switch it out. So that was the thing that was the most overwhelming for me.
I think exactly what you said. I've had quite a few DMs lately on Instagram with teachers that have been in the game for a while. They want to start putting their resources they've spent years making out there, but
Mhm,
that's what holds them back is that they don't know the behind the scenes things that actually makes a teachers pay teachers product sell. And I always tell them, you can spend all this time Googling stuff and trying to put it all together yourself, but at the end of the day, having everything in one place with lessons, like you mentioned, from zero to cha-ching, the course, you can access all those. Um, but this made me think of one specific thing you said in the mastermind our last coaching call. There are some people who can just take a course. That's why I have it
mhm,
self-paced, and they do fine with just watching the lessons and then directly going to implement. But then
mhm,
there's other people that want the coaching with it. And there was quite a few of you that said, including you, I think, that said, I want you to show me. Like, I want to be on a live call with you, showing me exactly what to do. And so that's why the mastermind, that's how it came up about, is because I
mhm,
knew that there was a group of people that need someone to show them. And I'm a visual learner too. So I
mhm,
relate to that.
mhm,
So would you say that was like a big driving force for you for joining the mastermind? Because you had signed up for the course
mhm.
before,
Yeah.
but then when I started the mastermind, you decided to join that. So I guess what
Mhm.
was it that like made you choose the mastermind over just doing the course by yourself?
Because I'm a visual learner as well, and I kind of need someone to hold my hand before the training wheels come off. And you're a very good coach. You are not the sage on the stage. You are the guide on the side.
Oh,
You
I love that.
you yes. So you are right there. You are always available to help. The From Zero to Cha-Ching course was great. However, that's self-paced. Now, if that is what you like, great. It's a great resource. It was a great price. Um, I was able to go through that self-paced. And I think for me, as an introduction to all of this, that was fine. But as I finished the course and I started trying things on my own, I started to think like, okay, wait a minute. I need somebody here to talk to help to guide me through this. And then that's when, following you, I saw the was it the sold out summer first, and then I think the
Mhm.
mastermind.
Yep.
So the for to clarify for everyone, the tutoring and your TPT for me have been meshing together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
both of your products from Zero to Ching and Tutorpreneur Academy are intertwined. So I've taken both of the courses because they've helped with not only my tutoring business, but starting my teacher pay teacher store. So having that mastermind and having those meetings really helped. They helped me tremendously because we had your help, like I said, your assistance, your coaching, and then not only your assistance, just kind of bouncing out ideas off of everyone else in the group. Because sometimes other students in the group had issues, and then, I could give them help with, or they could help me out. Um, for example, I think me and Stephanie, we were talking about the whole Instagram and the whole marketing, the social media. And so I kind of, told her a few things.
Yeah, you did.
And she actually tried it. I forgot to say, I don't know if you've seen that, but she tried it and it's great.
Oh,
So
good. I'll have to
we're
check it out.
able to, yeah, we're able to bounce ideas off of each other. And I don't know if you know, I think you do know, we have since that mastermind group finished, we have decided to um, stay together collectively as a group and
Yeah.
have co-working calls, maybe
Love
once or
it.
twice a month.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah. Stephanie mentioned that when I
yeah,
did the same interview with her. And I was like, I knew about it, but makes me so happy to hear that you guys got along so well and wanted to keep motivating each other.
yes, yes, that's really important.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So we know why you wanted to choose the mastermind now, but can you kind of tell the people listening, like, what were the best parts for you? Like, what did you take away, like, that you think that you'll hold on to?
The again, I have to go back to I have to give credit where credit is due, and that's to you, Molly. We have known each other now, is it almost 2 years,
Yeah.
probably?
Yeah.
And I tell you all the time, and I mentioned it before, you are the guy on the side. You are a cheerleader, you are a supporter. Um, you listen to. And even though and I can be a bit much sometimes, like I wanted to email Molly because sometimes I'll be honest with a product, I'll kind of be unsure of myself. And I'm not quite sure which direction to go or which marketing direction to go, or will this product sell, or why isn't it selling? What do I need to do? So just having access to you and your experience and expertise, I think that's the most valuable piece of it. And also, I have to add the audits. Um, you provide, I think for us, was it one or two audits a month? Can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. And I think you were someone that, actually took advantage of it in
Yeah,
the best
yeah.
way possible,
Right,
and got the most out of that for sure.
right, right. Um, those were helpful because again, you need that second eye. You need someone again just with your expertise. Hey, will this sell? Do you think this is a sellable product? What else can I do? What do I need to add? What do I need to delete? So again, your expertise and having the audits, I think those are the two most valuable pieces of the program.
Oh, I love that. I think that having feedback on anything you
Mhm,
create is so much more powerful than just crossing your fingers and uploading it and hoping that it'll
mhm,
do well.
mhm,
So I would agree with
mhm,
you. That was some of the best, or the most joy I had was actually looking over your guys' products and
mhm,
especially yours too, knowing that some of the things you had created were from years and years ago, but they're
mhm,
still in high demand. Like you mentioned,
mhm,
MTSS,
mhm,
RTI, the things
mhm,
that I've looked at of yours, I'm like, I could use this in my
mhm,
classroom. And
mhm,
that
mhm.
made me really excited for your sales down the road too.
Right, right.
So, what were some results that you achieved? It doesn't necessarily have to mean like how much money you made. It just means like what were some like things that are worth celebrating that you could share with people listening?
One I can share, and I have to go back to this, I don't know if this is celebratory enough, but just knowing that through you, I've made a lot of contacts who can help me along this journey. And you're one piece of advice that sticks with me. If you don't know how to do it, find somebody that does,
Mhm.
because it takes that time and the stress off of me. And I will tell your listeners that as well. Um, if you don't know how to do things, reach out. You can find people. There are a lot of different graphic designers, and the cost is minimal.
Mm.
And they do a great job. But again, the content and the product is yours. But the creativity side, you can even talk back and forth with them,
Yeah.
and they'll come up with, the creative part. Like I mentioned before, my sister would handle all of she was my creative design person. So the person I use now has just been using her designs and just kind of formatting things. So I would say that. And then on the first day, the first 2 days, I think, I received sales on my first product. So that
Yeah.
was amazing. So that was something to celebrate.
Yeah, and I would say for you too, like Shannon has taken every piece of advice and just implemented it from going live on social media,
Mhm,
even when you felt like nobody was watching, like you
mhm,
still did
mhm,
it anyways. You showed
mhm,
up and you made weekly content. You have blog posts about your products now.
mhm. Oh,
So
yes,
you
yes.
are a star
Mhm,
student to me. Like if I
mhm,
give you something to do, you run with it. And
mhm,
so I couldn't be any more proud of you, and I know that you're laying such a solid foundation right now. Like, I cannot wait to see like 6 months from now, a year from now, how well
mhm.
you're doing because it's already there. I can see it
Right.
happening every
Yes.
day.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
okay, well,
Thank
thank
you.
you for
Mm,
sharing that. That's so exciting. I
yes,
know making
yes.
the sales is great, but there's so many
Mhm,
other things that like little
mhm.
wins along the way that,
Right,
yeah. So, if
right.
anybody was on the fence about joining the mastermind, what would you say to them?
I would say do it, number 1. Again, if you join the mastermind, you have a great resource in Mali at your fingertips, with the meetings, twice a month, and also, being in the group with like-minded people who are everybody might not be at the same stage of their TPT story, and that was okay because we all had questions. Some were advanced, some were beginners, some were intermediate, and we all had kind of the same questions, and we were able to help each other. So sometimes when Molly wasn't available, but that I don't even think that ever happened. I would just like I said, me and Stephanie would like just bounce ideas off of each other. Um, and also, most importantly, is the audits and the feedback. Because again, with your product, you just need another eye. You need another person looking everything over, giving you that feedback, giving you the advice. Um, I had another product that I think the second product, maybe the second or the first, I can't remember which one. And then I saw it wasn't really selling. So I emailed Molly, like, hey, what can we do? So she's like, let me take a look at it. And, she gave me the feedback. She said, I think you might want to change your preview because it's not showing enough detail. And I agreed because there's so many things about teacher pay teacher that I did not know. I thought I knew,
Yeah.
but I didn't because like I said, there's so many steps, and that's another reason to join the mastermind because you think you know how to do it. And I think maybe years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I kind of, oh, I'll do a TPT store, and I think I started the first part of it, and then after I was like, "Oh, I stopped. I don't wanna do this anymore. This is too much." But again, I will say it can be daunting at first because there's a lot of front loading. There's
Yeah.
getting your page set up, There's getting your banner, um, again, uploading everything. When you upload a product at the beginning, I thought, oh, you just upload it and click a button, I'm finished. And it's like, no, you have to you have to choose the product description, you have to do the thumbnails, you have to add in previews, a video if you want to. You have to change the Common Core standards. Like it is a lot. But again, like I said, if you have a template, um, a generic one that you can switch your products in and out of is much easier. So I will tell anyone if you are looking to start a teacher pay teacher store in the new year, please go ahead and join the mastermind. From zero to cha-ching is great, but if you need help in getting your store started and you need that guide on the side, you want to choose Molly. She is great. And also, again, you get to meet lifelong friends on this journey who are teachers just like us and looking to start that side hustle.
Oh, I love you said that because I just heard Mel Robbins say on her podcast that in this coming year, like you don't even know you might meet some of the best
Mhm,
friends that
mhm.
you didn't even know you needed. And I,
Right,
I just love the
right.
promise of that. So that's
Mhm,
so exciting. So
mhm.
while we both forgot the name of that podcast, it was Sold a
So the
Story.
story,
Yes.
yeah.
It came to me and I was like, shoot, I better say that. And I will link to that in the description
Yes,
box so that in case, because that was what motivated you to write your article, I'll
yes.
also link the
Mhm.
article that you
Yes,
wrote
yes.
and I'll link all the places that people can find you. But where's the best place for people to contact you?
The best place they can find me, 2 places. One is my, website. It is more, MOORE, literacyleaps.com. You can find all of the information. You can sign up for, tutoring and also my upcoming workshop, Setting Up for Intervention Success.
Yes.
You can find that link on there. And also, there's a link to my Teacher Pay Teacher store from my website. And also, you can find me on Instagram at more, MOORE, Literacy Leaps.
Awesome. I'll link all that below. But yeah, you're pretty active on Instagram. So if somebody wanted to chat with you, they could DM you, I'm sure,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
great. And I
Mhm.
hope that you'll check out the article that Shannon recently wrote. It was wonderful, and the link will be below, like I mentioned. And Shannon, this has been so great. Thank you so much for
Yes,
coming on my YouTube channel.
yes. Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with Shannon. She has become a dear friend, and I'm so fortunate that she found me a couple years ago and not only has gone through all of my programs, but has truly become someone that I look forward to seeing and hearing from and seeing her business grow. If you're interested in joining the Teachers Pay Teachers Mastermind, you can get on the wait list right now. Depending on the time that you're watching this, we might have an opening right now. So you can also send me a DM on Instagram if you're curious of when we're getting started. But get on the wait list because you will get the details right away. I'll put the link below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.